The Fabulous 413 podcast is funded by the UMass 5 College Credit Union, dedicated to creating access to financial well-being for local people, businesses, and communities. Insured by NCUA, umass5.coop.
Welcome to the Fabulous 413. I'm Khalees Smith.
And I'm Monty Belmonte. And shout out to Chuck Punk Rock Sharp Cheddar Rude Boy Dubé for making some last-minute adjustments to our new studio here, up to the last minute. Later in the show, we'll learn more about the 3rd annual Latino Arts Festival at Springfield Museums with Larissa Murray and Lydia Rivera Early.
And we'll tour a farm that's feeding Amherst College campus at Book and Plow Farm.
But first, the armpit.
There's got to be a better way to say that.
Funny you should mention, there definitely is.
Did you send the donkey question to Emily?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
he did. And the answer is it has nothing to do with donkeys. I don't feel like there's really very much to talk about.
Fair.
We couldn't do a whole segment on whether the donkey of Don Quixote is having to do
Yeah.
with the donkey, the animal.
Well, and it doesn't make any sense at all, really. Don is a title.
Right.
Like, it just sounds like the English word for donkey, right? It's a Spanish work. It's just a coincidence of the English language that the Spanish word reminds us of an English word.
Yes, listener Mike said, is the word donkey related in any way to Don Quixote? Etymology seems very sketchy everywhere I've looked.
Only in dad jokes.
And I think there's probably like a kid's book or like a movie named Don Quixote.
From the producers who saw Shrek, arrives this year's surefire blockbuster, Don Quixote.
Yes, I think people have played with the similar sounds of the words, but they are not related etymologically at all. There's no connection.
One of the world's foremost experts on Don Quixote, Amherst College professor and regular guest on the show, Ilan
Ilan
Stabans. Well, speaking of donkeys, Emily Brewster, we're going to talk about ass and other words that have to do with body parts. Emily Brewster, resident wordster from Merriam-Webster, our dictionary in Springfield. I don't know where this conversation is going to go, but I'm already excited for it. We're going to talk about body parts.
Yes, obscure terms for them.
Yay.
This is all about, you've got more than one way to refer to the different parts of your body. I want you to guess what the word kibe refers to, K-I-B-E. And all of these are safe for families, safe for work, safe for everybody.
Safe for public radio.
Indeed.
Exactly.
Kibe.
Yeah, what do you think your kibe is?
The little indent underneath your nose.
No.
Bless
We're going to
you.
get to that one later, though.
Ooh.
Oh.
I don't know what it's called.
Your kibe is your heel.
Oh.
Huh.
Heel.
Yeah.
My Achilles,
yeah.
my Achilles kibe.
The Kibes are the bad guys in wrestling.
Oh yeah.
Is that true?
The heels.
Well, the heels.
Yeah.
Right.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
So you could also call them kibes. That would be an interesting extension. Yes, it most broadly refers to simply a heel, but it can also refer specifically to ulcerated chilblains. Your chilblains are cracked and swollen sores that you get that are caused by exposure to cold, especially on the heel.
Yep.
It's used in Shakespeare. It's used in Hamlet. Hamlet complains to Horatio that, quote, "the age is grown so picked that the toe of the peasant comes so near the heel of the courtier, he galls his kibe."
Wow.
Yeah.
Shakespeare probably didn't even have a thesaurus to come up with another word for that same sentence. He probably
No, he just
knew
made
it.
up his own.
Yeah,
And
right,
now we
yeah.
use them.
Yeah. Did he make that one up
Yeah.
though, or does that predate Shakespeare?
No, he didn't make that one up. That's just English.
But chilblains is also wonderful. Frost sores.
Nothing chill about chilblains. It sounds
No.
painful.
I
are.
know. I like chilblains. And chilblains is it's a very English word because
Yes.
it's constructed by the word chill, which is ultimately the source of our word cold also. And then blains are these sores. And it's an ancient word for our ancestors who suffered. All right. What part of the body do you think is your supercilium?
Oh, wait a minute. I should know this.
Yeah, you might know this one.
Is it your funny bone? Because it's super silly.
No.
I thought that was a good guess.
It's related to the word supercilious. Do you know the word supercilious?
Yeah, does that have to do with some hair or something?
It does have to do with hair.
That's the only thing that's really popping to my mind, that cilium has to do with hair.
Like, I remember learning this word,
Yeah.
and I don't remember at all what it is.
I'll give you the meaning of the adjective supercilious first. It's defined as coolly and patronizingly haughty. So if someone is supercilious about something, they might be looking down their nose at you and their eyebrows may be lifted.
Eyebrows.
Yeah. Yeah, the supercilium is the region of the eyebrows or the eyebrow itself, and multiple are supercilia.
Okay.
Multiple eyebrows. My supercilia.
Yeah.
I'm furrowing my supercilia.
Like the ones you paint on after you shave them off
Yeah.
in drag or in theater.
David
Can I
Bowie
read
was
to you-
without supercilia.
Right. You can make them disappear with makeup, of course. If you
Yes.
want to. Or by plucking.
Yeah.
Yes.
The Encyclopedia Britannica book from 1771 has a really great description. Can I read it to you?
Please.
The supercilia, or eyebrows, are the two hairy arches situated at the lower part of the forehead between the top of the nose and the temples, in the same direction with the bony arches which form the superior edges of the orbits. Their color is different in different persons, and often in the same person different from that of the hair on the head. The hairs of which they consist are strong and pretty stiff, and they lie obliquely, their roots being turned to the nose and their points to the temples.
The hairy arches and the bony arches sound like what McDonald's should try to do for the Halloween or whatever.
Oh, God. No,
Follow
no.
Wendy's page and
No,
who
no.
did all that
No, no.
Wednesday stuff.
No fast food place of any sort of denomination should start with hairy.
The hairy arches.
Nope. Nope.
Yeah,
Billions
I
and
agree.
billions
I
served.
agree with Khalees.
Nope.
I just
Okay.
think it's funny how this encyclopedia entry is clearly written for a Martian.
And the spiders from Mars.
We all know what they are. It's written for someone who has never seen an eyebrow before. It's written for someone who doesn't have one on their own face, you know?
Oh.
So it kind of cracks me up.
Oh, you mean the lizard people that rule this world?
Right. Do
That-
they have supercilia? It's not clear to me.
Not clear.
They're not
clear.
useful in inner Earth.
Right.
This one is originally from Scottish. The word is thrapple. Any guess what your thrapple is?
Scrapple is food.
Thrapple.
Is it like your turkey gobbler extra chin? That's what it sounds like to me.
Oh, you're close.
Oh.
Means throat or windpipe.
Wow.
That makes sense.
Thrapple.
Like a
Yeah.
combination of throat and Adam's apple.
Yes, actually, Khalees, there's a theory that it may be a contraction of the word throat ball, B-O-L-L, that was used as a term for Adam's apple.
Wow, that's a better name for it. We did a whole episode on why it's called an Adam's apple a couple weeks ago, so you can go look that up in the podcast. But
Although Throat
Right.
Ball definitely sounds like one of the bands I should have encountered at RPM Fest
Yeah.
this past weekend.
Throat Ball Z.
Not even, it doesn't need the Z, just Throat Ball. Sounds like somebody doing Cookie Monsters on stage.
And if you choke on Scrapple, it could get caught in your
Thrapple.
thrapple.
Right. Or you could say, I've got a little bit of a sore thrapple.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't, yeah, I mean, like, it's both cute and also weirdly, like, disquieting saying I've got a sore thrapple.
Yeah, yeah. I think it helps if you have a Scottish accent.
You've
Like,
got
I
a
just that's
sore
my
thrapple.
impulse.
Head, pants, now. So I married an axe murderer. Remember that movie?
No.
That was good.
I think of the next line. It's like, oh, I've gone too far. Gotta go upstairs and cry himself to sleep on his huge pillow.
It's like Sputnik. Anyway, and
Got the Piper down.
a Piper is down.
Got the Piper who's down.
If you think I'm sexy and you want my body,
All right, you two.
Apologies to
What
anybody
do
who's
you-
Scottish out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're braver than I am. I wasn't.
Brave
No.
Scottish movie from Disney.
You feel the same way? It's just no fair making respect for the hand of the coin. It doesn't want to but yet.
What do you think your popliteal space is?
Oh, that's the divot.
Is it under your nose?
It is not the
Oh.
divot under your nose. No.
Popliteal space.
Popliteal.
Popliteal
space.
space.
Litial.
Yeah. P-O-P-L-I-T-E-A-L.
Popliteal space. Armpit.
No. It's the space at the back of your knee joint.
I was going to say that next.
Knee pit.
It's not a knee
It's your knee pit. It's
Oh.
your knee pit. Yes.
It's the knee
exactly.
joint behind the knee. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
nice because I've always wondered if, you've got kind of like you've got the weenus and you've got like that little space there for your elbow, but we didn't have a common name for that same space on your knee, but apparently there is one.
Right. Not common though, right? Because
No.
this is all about obscure words for body parts.
That is
These are
pretty obscure.
Weenus also
Yeah.
obscure and not technical. I think it's still in the Urban Dictionary kind of level of words.
Fair enough. But more people are familiar with it
I think so too. Then the popliteal space
for sure.
behind your knee.
Yes.
Yeah, which you can also call the popliteal fossa. Fossa refers to any kind of anatomical pit, groove, or depression.
Anatomical Pit also sounds like a band I should have seen this weekend at RPM Fest.
All right.
Yeah.
So good.
All right. How about this one? Do you know what your pinna is?
Pinea?
Do you mean my PIN number? I'm not giving that out on the radio.
Pinna.
Pinna.
Pinna. Pinna.
Nope.
No?
No idea.
Okay. It's the largely cartilaginous projecting portion of the external ear. It's everything that's not the earlobe that you can see.
The pinna.
I always think of your ears as the horn on a gramophone. It's
Oh, yeah.
the rest of the gramophone, but not the lobe.
Yeah, yeah. And it collects the sound waves and it directs them into the ear canal. That is what your pinna does.
And I had a piercing up there when I was younger, so I had a pin in my pinna.
Yeah, you did. The word pinna is Latin for feather or wing.
Oh, yeah, head wings. Makes sense.
Yeah.
My pinny is burning. Somebody must be
French-
talking about me.
French Roman countrymen, lend me your pinna.
Yeah.
Okay, what do you think your hallux is? Hallux.
Your vocal cords.
No, it is your big toe.
Your hallux.
Yeah, and it's actually the innermost digit of any hind or lower limb. So other creatures also have halluces, as the plural of the word goes. But one is a hallux, Hallux. So, ow, I stubbed my hallux.
We've got all sorts of fun stuff that we can now start spouting out there.
Hallux. I can't come in. I've got a broken hallux.
Yeah.
And somebody out there will go like, well, can't you just go to IKEA and get another couple of pins and fix it?
Yes, it does sound like something that you could buy at IKEA, but I don't think you can.
No, you can't. They
buy
do
a
have
hallux.
a bookshelf called Calyx, which is why I'm referring to it.
Did you just go to IKEA? Is it fresh on the mind?
No. It is very popular in the board game set because the squares are about the right size for most games.
Gotcha. Hallux, the big toe.
Yeah. Okay, this next one also has an X in it. It is oxter, Oxter. What do you think your oxter is?
Tailbone, because oxtail.
I would think it was also bum somehow.
Yeah, no, it's your armpit.
Oxter.
Oxter. Yeah.
Why?
Listen to the noises my oxter can make.
Yeah. We don't know why, but it goes back to Old English. Actually, in Old English, they would call it an oxta.
Oxta.
But yeah, it's been oxter for I don't know how long exactly. Yeah, oxter. You can also call it an axilla if you want. Axilla, but oxter is older.
Both of them sound so much more elegant than armpit.
Yes.
I know, but actually armpit is the oldest use. That's the oldest word that we've had for it. So if we want to be true to our Old English roots, we can just call it an armpit. There isn't a lot of respect for the armpit. The name is also almost like a dysphemism, like a word that sounds worse than what it is. It's just the spot.
Right.
It's just the cavity beneath the junction of a forelimb in the body. That's all it is.
They are smelly and they are weirdly hairy for reasons, I guess.
Right.
And ticklish.
But it is one of the important parts of your lymph system, so they're doing the good work.
Yeah, we can't diss any of these, actually. We want them all to be in good shape.
Good on you,
All right,
oxter.
what is your philtrum?
That's the one.
That's got to be the one.
That's the one.
Under your nose.
That's the one.
Yep.
Yeah. It's defined as the vertical groove on the median line of the upper lip.
And somehow not just philtrum because mustaches filter things that get eaten through them.
No. It actually comes from the Greek word philtron, meaning love potion or charm, as well as dimple in the upper lip. So the Greeks, the ancient Greeks, thought highly, apparently, of the philtrum. It's like a source of love, I guess.
I remember as a grade schooler reading a fairy tale about that part of the body and how it came about on people. And that version of the story was that when people are created in whatever celestial place that they start out, they're shown whoever their soulmate is. And whatever cosmic beings would push their fingers in to make the philtrum to make them forget.
Wow.
Yeah, I've heard that story too.
Is that a true story, Khalees?
How should I know?
I don't know either. I used to love to draw the philtrum when I would draw people's faces. I love drawing people's faces, and I love drawing that part. It's such an interesting little groove in the body.
In anime, when you see that on somebody, because they don't draw it very often, it's usually on very shady characters.
Yeah.
It's a part of the body that comes out or that is emphasized when somebody can't really be trusted.
Took me like 3 hours to finish the shading on your upper lip.
This one is also not so obscure as others. The word is proboscis.
Nose.
Ah, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, nose.
Especially when prominent.
Yes.
Is there a monkey with a name that has it in there?
There's a proboscis monkey.
Or something like that, or an ape. Oh yeah, proboscis monkey.
Yeah. Butterflies have one when they're taking nectar.
That's
Talk about
right.
the proboscis, their tongue that comes out.
I think a mosquito's organ for torturing us
their
is
weird
also...
saw that they saw into our body with so that the wound doesn't close and they can get all our blood, the bastards.
Yeah, also a proboscis. And then an elephant's trunk is also called a proboscis.
Yes.
Proboscis monkeys, looking at pictures of them, looks like I'm not safe for work. Like somebody's going to
they
call
have
HR.
giant noses. Like that one comic. I'm thinking of, there's a old comic from the 20s.
W.C. Fields?
No, Jimmy something.
Jimmy
You know.
Durante. Ah, the good old proboscises of old.
Back when nobody really had to look at them very much.
Yeah. More fun body part words that aren't going to get us in trouble at work, Emily Brewster?
Yeah, I got one more for you. The word is fizz, P-H-I-Z.
Ooh.
What do you think your fizz is?
I think it's your tummy because Alka-Seltzer, plop, plop, fizz, fizz. Oh, what a relief it is.
No. Fizz. I have no idea. Maybe collarbone.
I'm going to read you a little excerpt from a book written in 1744 called The Wooden World Dissected in the Character of a Ship of War.
Good title.
The real truth is, anyone would guess him to have been a 7 years apprentice to the Prince of Darkness, for he is never without a pair of tormentors in his hand and the devil in his mouth, and his fizz so everlastingly reeking with sweat and grief, as if he was come just piping hot from Old Nick's kitchen.
Skin.
Forehead?
Face.
Face.
Yeah, it's a shortening of a longer word, physiognomy,
Oh, yeah.
which refers to facial features, your face. Your face is your physiognomy. And people clipped the word back to fizz.
Oddly, I
And
know
that goes into
physiognomy,
the-
but didn't know fizz.
I like that,
Yeah.
though. Get
Yeah.
out of my fizz.
Get out of my fizz.
I think that one should be used more frequently than it is,
Well,
for sure.
So does the word face come from physiognomy and fizz? Because fizz and face kind of sound so similar.
No, it does not. The word face in English, it's pretty new, 14th century, borrowed from Anglo-French, and it goes back to a Latin word, F-A-C-I-E with a macron S, meaning appearance, aspect, form, human face. And it eventually traces all the way back to the stem facere, meaning to make or do, which is connected to words like fact and a whole bunch of others. That's a very productive root in English. But now I'm really wondering, what did we call the face before we called it a face?
Fizz definitely should have been at RPM Fest also.
Yeah,
if anybody
Fizz.
out there is trying to start heavy metal bands, like we have given you just a wealth of options.
Or even physiognomy. That sounds like a metal band.
It does.
Well, this is really disappointing. So now I'm looking at the Oxford English Dictionary's historical thesaurus, and they don't have an entry for just the word face. So it's unclear what English speakers called the face before the Norman invasion.
It's called a Norman. Look at Norman.
I don't know. Yeah.
It's a Norman invasion.
Yeah.
It's your typical invasion.
Well, thank you
Yeah.
for keeping it clean, not titillating us with other words for body parts or euphemistic ways of referring to the body that could get us in trouble, but also shining a light on these really fun words.
Always a pleasure.
We'll learn more about the 3rd annual Latino Arts Festival, which comes to Springfield this Friday.
After we head to where liberal arts meets agriculture in Amherst at Book and Plow.
You're listening to the Fabulous 413 on 88.5 NEPM.
The Fabulous 413 podcast is funded by Northeast Solar in Hatfield, dedicated to custom solar installations, electric vehicle charging solutions, and reliable long-term system support. northeast-solar.com.
It's time for another Local Hero Spotlight with Claire Morneau from CISA, the Local Hero, folks. And we are at a beautiful hilltop in Amherst. at Book and Plow Farm. Book and Plow with Kaylee Brow. It's just too perfect.
Amazing, thank you.
Where we are sitting, which is this really beautiful structure that overlooks the hill, is this a pergola or an overlook?
Or a pavilion?
This is called a pavilion, yes. Yeah.
I like pergola better.
I mean, well, pergola is a very specific thing that grows up and it's open, but like I also can't really tell the difference because I'm not into architecture that way. I just like pretty outside buildings.
So this Book and Plow Farm, what is this little pavilion used for?
This pavilion kind of came out of COVID time and where we had tents everywhere on campus. We had a permanent tent up here and it was used for like meetings and classroom space, and kind of brought up the idea of having a more permanent meeting space that is beautiful, that professors can use for classes, that people can book for meetings for their departments.
And the thing we haven't mentioned yet is that Book and Plow is connected to Amherst College.
Yes, Book and Plow is the campus farm of Amherst College.
When did Amherst get a campus farm because of all the colleges? I think maybe Amherst is the one that I expect to least be involved in agriculture.
That is a good observation. UMass and Hampshire both have student farms. In 2013, a group of students, of Amherst College students, decided that they would like to push for a campus farm. They thought that that was very valuable. So they worked together and kind of came up with a proposal to get a farm started on campus. Amherst College owns, I believe it's like 1,000 acres of land. So they had a lot of land, but no farmers. And they also don't have an agricultural major. I went to UMass and studied farming there. And something that I think is very interesting here is that we got like a very broad range of majors coming up and working on the farm or just kind of using the farm space because we don't have an ag major. So we've got like philosophy majors and math majors and computer science majors all coming up and working together, which I think is a pretty cool aspect of it.
Do they come as part of a volunteer thing that they do? Is it a student job? Do they get credits for farming?
There are lots of different ways that students can kind of connect with the farm. A lot of them do come up in classes. We've got really interesting collaborations with a bunch of different classes. Sometimes it's just kind of an intro that the farm exists and what we do, and kind of have students picking cherry tomatoes just to eat or picking their flowers for their dorm rooms. So that's kind of a big way that students are connecting with the farm is through classes. And then the work study aspect of it is a paid job. And so they're getting work study, and we also have a summer internship program where they're paid to work on the farm.
Because summers are the most heavy work part of farming, and all the students are generally gone.
Yeah, hard to farm in February in Amherst.
What do you grow here and what happens to the food?
We grow less than a lot of other farms, like less variety than some farms around. We are not doing a CSA this year, so it's kind of allowed us to not grow such a huge diversity of crops. But we're mostly focusing on crops that we harvest in the fall when there are tons of students on campus, and also food that the dining hall can use kind of in abundance. So this year we focused on delicata squash, peppers, kale, chard, salad mix. We grow a ton of really delicious cherry tomatoes. Yeah, that sort of stuff that they can use in abundance. And so most of our food, or a lot of our food, goes to the dining hall, and then probably about half, or sometimes maybe more than half, will go to the Amherst Survival Center in season.
How far are you from Amherst College when we're up here on this hill? I kind of came the circuitous back roads, but how long does it take from main campus to get up here to the Book and Plow Farm?
So we are technically on campus still.
Because 1,000 acres.
Exactly. Depending on how quick you walk, it's probably like a 10 to 12 minute walk from the closer edge of campus.
Mm-hmm. And Book and Plow is the name of the farm. Kaylee Brow, who is the assistant farm manager here. Talk about why it's called Book and Plow.
We got that a lot. It's also interesting as we're shifting away from heavy tillage that we still have the word plow in our name. But the emblem of the town of Amherst is a book with a plow on it. So yeah, just kind of a nod to the town of Amherst and the crest. And I believe the town of Amherst crest is that because we have a lot of agriculture and also a lot of education, and we really value both of them.
You didn't think about changing it to Mammoth Farm?
No, we actually haven't considered that.
Don't, it's fine. In addition to your crops, it looks like there's meadowland being maintained here too. Is that an active part of the farm that you're watching over with your student workers?
We're not actually doing a lot of student work in those spaces. They're kind of zones that we leave. A lot of it is a wetland at this spot. So we'll do kind of like a routine mowing probably like once a year. This space that we're looking at is planted with perennial native like pollinator supportive plants.
But yeah, for the most part, we have kind of our spaces that we're growing in, and then stewarding the other spaces with like low impact, trying to not be in there too much.
You mentioned that you're moving towards a lower tillage system. I'm curious about that process and also just what has changed in the 12-ish years that this farm has been here.
I've been here since 2016, so I've seen the farm in like a lot of different sizes and growing techniques. Yeah, so a lot of what has changed is kind of our focus. When I first started, we were in a lot of local markets, and as we've kind of continued growing and honing what we do, we shifted a lot of the focus to really just focusing on our one market, which is the dining hall, and really kind of choosing crops that they can use well or highlight pretty nicely. But yeah, the growing practices have changed since we've gone down from 19 acres. We're now on about 2 acres. We still use tractors, which is fun, and I enjoy that. But as we learn more about tillage, as we're talking more about like farm practices with classes, and we're facing the realities of climate change, it's feeling important to reduce the amount of tillage that we're doing on the farm. And we're actually participating in a pretty cool experiment with a bunch of other local farms growing in a no-till clover growing method. I don't know if you guys
clover cover?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. We talked with
Ag.
Yes.
Yeah, Momentum Ag. Cool. Well, we are also participating in the Momentum Ag like clover experiment, which is
Talk about what that is and why it's important.
Yeah, so tillage is a thing that you do sometimes when you're farming, which is kind of turning over soil. Generally speaking, it's not great for soil life because they're being exposed to air, which they don't love. Conventional farming, or farming as it happens now, relies heavily on tillage for preparing beds and weed control and all of those things. And so the idea of not doing tillage has been around forever, but the idea of kind of working it into the systems that we have now is also something that's been around for a long time, but something we've just started working with. So the idea is that you can seed an entire field of clover and really limit your tillage, or the way that we did it, we really limited our tillage just to some strips where we planted our winter squash. And it eliminated a lot of plastic mulch that we used to use growing winter squash. It helped with retaining moisture in the soil, and it was just like an easier transplant, easier harvest. But yeah, generally it's not foolproof. Farming is really difficult. There's like hard seasons for everything, which is why it's really valuable that so many different farms are participating in this with different crops and different soil textures and structures and slightly different climates maybe, so that I'm not just reliant on like my one experience growing winter squash this one time in this one season. So we can kind of like share a lot of knowledge that way and learn a lot more about this clover system.
That whole process and idea is something I'm very interested in as a home gardener.
It sequesters carbon at the same time,
Yep,
right? Doesn't when you till, it releases the carbon out, but if you've got clover there, it's taking in more of the carbon, it's turning it into oxygen, it's leaving the carbon in the soil, and instead of releasing it back out as to be a greenhouse gas. We are at Book and Plow Farm on campus at Amherst College, believe it or not, in a pavilion overlooking the beautiful rolling hills with...
This is the less Lord Jeffries looking part of the campus.
That's right. With Kaylee Brow from Book and Plow and Claire Morneau from CISA. You're in an interesting position as a farmer because I'm assuming you're an employee of Amherst College. So most farmers have to start their own farm business, they have to do that, but you get the benefit of both being a farmer and being an employee at an institution that is well endowed.
That's true, yeah.
Even still now, with all the problems.
Yeah, that's what the endowment is for, everybody. Don't forget that.
Yes, that's true. It is a really different farming job than I've had, or slightly different farming job than I've had in the past. I've worked as part of like an educational nonprofit intern program where I was doing a lot of education. I've worked on relatively large like organic production farms. And yeah, it just is a little bit different. Our season is different, our labor is different, our market is different. But yeah, it is also what I've been doing for the past decade. So I don't know any different, you know?
Do you teach with the student? Like, are you in charge of overseeing an entire class that is in conjunction with the farm, or at least some sessions of a class or anything like that?
Does the Five College Consortium do classes here because Amherst doesn't necessarily have directly ag classes?
Definitely some of our students who are very interested in farming will probably benefit from the Five College Consortium and going maybe to UMass and learning some more like hard skill farming things. But the working on the farm is not part of a class. We collaborate with some professors, but that's more of kind of like a one-off come up to the farm. Or we have one professor who's been coming for a couple years that does 2 labs here, doing like a soil survey and kind of a harvesting experience. But yeah, so for the most part, we're not teaching a class, but I'm teaching many different students from many different majors about how to harvest kale and how to harvest lettuce and that sort of stuff.
When a philosophy class comes here, do you get involved in that class?
I have not personally been involved in philosophy classes. We've had dance classes come up, which is really interesting to talk about like ergonomics and how we think about using our bodies in places. We've had Spanish classes come up in which I don't speak Spanish, but I speak in English and they speak in Spanish about the things that are going on here. But the philosophy classes tend to go and make observations and contemplate without me.
I'm sure it varies a lot, but I'm curious just what your observation is of how students react to this. Do you have a lot of people who come in really excited to see the farm? Do you have people who come in with no exposure to farms whatsoever, and this is sort of an eye-opening experience for them? How does that go?
I think every year at the beginning of the semester, we have a student who just wanders up here and like emerges out of the woods and is like, tell me about
Narnia.
it.
Has that happened yet?
It did happen, yeah.
We're at the beginning of the school year.
Yeah, we had a
A
student
lonely freshman wanders up the hill.
Exactly. And then sometimes they're like a worker who recently just started working at a different farm had that experience where like their first day at Amherst, they like emerged out of the woods, found Book and Plow, worked every semester that they could. So we definitely have students kind of finding the farm that way. Some students will be touring the school before they choose a school and they find out about the farm and they're excited, want to ask a lot of questions. But yeah, some people are coming in with some knowledge. A lot of people, sometimes students just signed up for an econ class and they didn't expect to come up and like top onions or like sort some, you know, they don't necessarily have the same experience as a student who's like super excited about it. But this is a place for everyone to have whatever experience you have here.
You said that the farm was 19 acres before. Can you talk about the decision to shrink the size that you're farming on and what happened to those other 17 acres?
The decision to shrink the farm is kind of like obviously very multifaceted. One big one was that my first year, 2016, when the farm was on 19 acres, it had scaled pretty abruptly from 12 to 19. And 2016 was also the year of like a historic drought. We didn't get a single drop of rain for 10 weeks. I was doing all of the irrigation. It was very stressful. And so, yeah, that was just a high stress year. And at that point, the farm was still kind of its own business with ties to the college, but wasn't necessarily a department of the college. And so after that year, it kind of transitioned, and the farmer and I who stayed became college employees. Part of that shrinking was us just being like 19 acres was actually crazy and we can't irrigate all of that, so we should not do that again. But yeah, just kind of over time honing what we're doing, leaning a little bit more into the education side of things, and also just kind of keeping up with demand for the dining hall.
You did mention that now almost all of the food that you're growing here goes either to the Amherst College Dining Hall or the Amherst Survival Center. Does the culinary folks at the dining hall, do they have a request that they would like more of or less of or this different type of thing so that they can play with it? And do you have that kind of collaborative relationship with the dining hall?
We do, yeah. So at the end, well, sometimes through the season, but specifically at the end of every season, we will sit down with the chefs and the procurement officer who orders the vegetables from us and just kind of go through our season and assess whether something was not being used because our tomatoes were too small, or were they not being used because the dining hall is having to buy pre-sliced tomatoes because of a labor shortage, that sort of thing. Just reflecting on all of our crops, seeing what we could have grown more of, because the dining hall was like using a lot of it. And we tend to get the request to have a gigantic pumpkin patch from one of our chefs, which we have yet to do. But for the most part, we talk through like all of our crops that we grew, ask ideas for things that we could grow more of. Yeah, we grew like a ton of basil for them this year to make some pesto, which was very successful.
Talk about growing flowers on this farm, because, I mean, growing produce is one thing, and then growing flowers is entirely different, and usually that's just done for pleasure or pollinators. So talk about bringing flowers onto Book and Plow.
Yeah, so a lot of what we do is growing vegetables, just kind of like regular organic farming, growing veggies, bring them to Survival Center, to the dining hall. And the other side of what we do is really like cultivating a very beautiful and calming space for staff and faculty and primarily students and neighbors to come and just be outside and be around beautiful things. Since I started, we've had a pretty robust flower garden that we maintain. It's very beautiful right now. We time it so that it's like peak when students are coming back. They can all go and pick flowers and bring them back to their dorm rooms. But yeah, flower growing is, we save that seed order till the end. We have to order all of our vegetable seeds first, and then I get to get excited about all the pictures in the seed catalogs of the flowers. It's very beautiful, and it's really, even if I'm not always making bouquets, just having flowers at work that I'm walking by regularly is just such a calming and peaceful part of it.
I'm curious about what your hopes are for the future. Like when you think about the next dozen years for this farm, what do you envision?
Wow, that's a great question. Yeah, I mean, I think that the first thing I thought of when you said that is continuing to collect data. We've been working with an environmental studies class where students are coming out mostly to get the experience of using soil harvesting techniques that they're learning in class, like in real life, in this kind of like practice space. But over time, we're kind of like collecting nutrient data from our soil. So it's maybe like a little bit of a boring answer to continue collecting data. But
It's a very Amherst College answer.
It's also a really interesting resource because not every farm has that much data about their specific farm coming back to them in real time constantly.
Or that many students so eager to give you the data.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes you're mid carrot harvest and it's September and you're like, I'm definitely going to remember how good these carrots were or how bad these carrots were, whatever thought I had about them. And it's actually really hard to remember stuff while you're actively farming. Sometimes data collection can be the hardest part of farming, and just having the support there is really helpful. And yeah, also just really hoping to continue to collaborate with other classes. Hopefully in 12 years, every single person who works at the college and also goes to the college will know that the farm exists and is here for them.
We can shout from the hilltops here because they probably can hear us. Ricola!
Ricola!
Oh, it's that way? I shouted the wrong way.
It's okay. They will bounce off the hills and come back to them. We're at Book and Plow. What's your favorite book about farming?
My favorite book about farming, or one that was very formative when I was first learning about farming, was Do Nothing Farming by Masanobu Fukuoka. Yeah, just the way that he writes about farming is rather poetic, and the idea that the point of it is not toiling and just working as hard as you possibly can to eke vegetables out of soil, I think was really helpful to read.
Is it okay when non-students just wander onto the farm?
Only if they have a book or a plow.
Exactly.
Or a tape recorder.
I think that the very cool thing about the farm, being a part of Amherst College campus, is that it looks very different than Amherst College campus. We like to say that it's a very porous kind of border and that lots of people come, and it's very nice to see them. We have a lot of people walking their dogs. We have a lot of people just walking up this hill, I think, for the aerobic exercise. But yeah, we love seeing neighbors and community members around and chatting to people.
Thanks so much for taking time out of your busy farming day to sit in this pavilion, Book and Plow with us.
I mean, any chance I get to sit on a giant wood bench, I'm gonna take it. In the sun, no less.
That's a nice bench.
It's a good bench, yeah. Someone who works down and he does like the set building for all the plays on campus.
Oh, cool.
And sometimes he'll have something that's like really beautiful, like these benches, and he'll bring them up the hill instead of disposing of them, I suppose.
You can drop them off at my house next time.
They're really heavy.
Yeah, I know. I found that out when I tried to move this closer, and I'm like, I'm staying here. Also, Book and Plow is growing one of the coolest varieties of okra I have ever seen. It's like a little, it's almost like a silver dollar in width, which is rare, and they're very sweet and very cool, so you can head up there and look for that amongst their grounds. Thank you so much to Claire Morneau of CISA and Kaylee Brow of Book and Plow Farm for taking time to speak with us. That was really fun.
Yeah, and it's cool that they give the students an opportunity to bring flowers to their dorm room. That is like the last thing that I would have had in my dorm room.
I got yelled at a lot for stealing irises from Middle Path at Kenyon. But I did it. I'm not ashamed.
Now to celebrate the Latin diaspora right down the road from us at Springfield Museums for the 3rd Annual Latino Arts Festival happening this Friday.
You're listening to the Fabulous 413 on 88.5 NEPM.
The Fabulous 413 podcast is funded by Eastworks, a community of makers, artists, restaurants, and services located in the Mill District of East Hampton, where community happens. Learn more at eastworks.com.
Volver a vivir la
That is the sound of the Goza Latin Band. Welcome back to the Fabulous 413. This Friday, the Springfield Museums and the Mi Museo Committee present the third annual Latino Arts Festival, leading into National Hispanic Heritage Month. The festival is a celebration of the myriad arts and rich cultures of the Puerto Rican, Cuban, Afro-Cuban, Portuguese, Mexican, Dominican, and Central and South American populations of Greater Springfield.
The evening features live music by the Goza Latin Band and DJ Cowboy, Afro-Puerto Rican dance and musical performance by Bomba de Aquí, salsa demonstrations by Latin Wildfire youth dancers, floral installation by Idalia Long of Social House displays, tours of special exhibitions from the Museo de Arte de Ponce, and local dignitaries of the Latin diaspora.
And with us to speak about the festivities for this year's event is Springfield Museum's Director of Education, Larissa Murray. Full disclosure, I believe NEPM is a sponsor of this.
Yes, thank you so
festival,
much.
yes,
We have had to say this a couple of times in the underwriting, and it is totally okay because this is a really cool thing.
Yeah, thanks for joining us to tell us about this, and it's happening this Friday.
It is about 48 hours away. We're excited. Thank you for having me here today.
My
our
pleasure.
Have you been involved with all three of them now? Were you involved in the first one as well?
Yes, I was. And actually, we had kind of a precursor event, Salsa on the Quad, back in 2022. So internally, this is kind of our fourth go-around with this event. We're so excited to still be hosting it and to change it up every year.
What are
Go ahead. No, please.
What are some of those changes that we're seeing in this year?
So this year we're featuring some special exhibitions on loan from the Museo de Ponce in Puerto Rico. Last year it was a Frida Kahlo photography show. So we have a different featured exhibition that's part of the night's festivities. The first year we had community artists on display. So each year we try to have a different kind of featured artistic moment.
You got to take a sneak peek as they were still finishing the installation on that today to prepare for this. Anything that stuck out to you that was particularly exciting that people could see?
It's a gorgeous exhibition. It's actually in two pieces. So there's the Legacies of Surrealism, large pieces, much larger than some of the pieces we normally have on display. They're beautiful. And then the still lifes, the market pieces, the landscapes are also gorgeous. Those are kind of set together. We have some sound interpretations, some kids' activities in those spaces as well. We're trying to integrate our literacy initiative into that exhibition as well. So it's just a wonderful experience, and I can't wait to really go in and appreciate the exhibit. It opens on Friday for this event.
I think it's a really fun combination of things to pair the surreal with the very concrete places that you could probably go and visit at the same time. That's really inspired and a lot of fun.
Yeah, and we're talking about this Latino Arts Festival, which will happen Friday at the Springfield Museums, and we're speaking with Springfield Museums Director of Education, Larissa Murray. Are you involved in the talent booking for these kind of things?
With the committee's assistance. So we do that as a group. DJ Cowboy has been with us all along. The Goza Latin Band was present last year as well. So we, have some kind of perennial favorites and then bringing in some new voices and some new entertainment as well.
And the committee is the Mi Museo Committee, and we had hoped to be joined by a member of the Mi Museo Committee as well for this conversation. But if people aren't familiar with that committee and what it means to the Springfield Museums, talk about what that committee is and does.
Yeah, they're a wonderful group of community members who advise on not just this event, but all aspects of Latino culture and ways that we can work together with the community to increase what we're doing. This is just kind of the signature event.
And up to and including the fact that the display that has come from Museo de Ponce has some pieces of the Springfield Museums mixed in. Was that the committee's idea, or was that something that the Springfield Museums wanted to do to kind of show the integration of these cultures?
Both. The committee was definitely part of learning that we had this opportunity. This comes from the Art Bridges Foundation, or I should say facilitated by the Art Bridges Foundation. So they have an initiative to get art that would just be in storage or maybe not seen, traveling and out and about. And so that's how we were able to have this loan take place. And then, the committee was integral in the planning. And then it's our art staff, our curators, our director who was able to kind of pair these objects on loan with some pieces in the collection.
The event is this Friday. It's from 5 to 8, and it's free and open to the public.
Free.
Yeah. So
Yes.
Is it an opportunity to see the entirety of the museum, or is that you?
The entirety of the D'Amour Museum of Fine Arts.
Okay, cool. 'Cause, it is Springfield Museums.
Yes.
It is during the day. But for this event, we are really, really hoping that this forecast holds and keeps clearing, because we would like to be both outside on the Quadrangle Green and inside the D'Amour Museum of Fine Arts. If it changes, we'll just be inside.
You've got a lot of museum there to play with, so it's fun.
We do. It's just nice with salsa dancing and things like that to be outside on the lawn, and taking advantage of the campus.
Have you tried to have that dance element outside for each of these 3 festivals so far?
Yes. Yeah, in some way or another. One of the first year we had someone actually doing some instruction. So there's been a piece of that each time.
That's cool.
We're speaking with the Springfield Museum's Director of Education, Larissa Murray, about the Latino Arts Festival. There's a bunch of stuff that is happening in the, I hate to say it, end of summer, fall, and even holiday season coming up at the Springfield Museums. Let's take a little break, and we'll hear a little bit more about what the Springfield Museums has in store. I'm not giving up on summer until that last sundown of summer.
Until the equinox, where it becomes the plywood ramp to Christmas.
Exactly.
You're listening to the Fabulous 413 on 88.5 NEPM.
That is more from the Goza Latin Band, who'll be part of this Festival of Latino Arts at the Springfield Museums this Friday, 5 o'clock, free and open to the public. And we're here with Springfield Museum's Director of Education, Larissa Murray, on the Fabulous 413. Not only free and open to the public, but some free food.
Free food, yes. Being catered, complimentary hors d'oeuvres, and then cash bar and soft drinks available for purchase.
Yay.
Love a cash bar.
Dancing.
I also love an open bar.
Dancing is easier with a cash bar,
yes.
shall we say.
There are some other exciting things happening or ending at the Springfield Museums that we, before we run out of time, we would like to remind people about, both out of time on this show and at the museum itself. The Van Gogh exhibit. Talk about the Van Gogh for All.
Sure, Van Gogh for All, which will actually be available during the Latino Arts Festival.
Oh, cool.
Because it's in the D'Amour Museum of Fine Arts. That has about a week and a half left. Closes on September 14th. It's a really great interactive, immersive exhibition where visitors, patrons, families can feel like they're part of a Van Gogh painting and draw a still life, draw your own portrait, play with Starry Night. It's just a really, really fun, colorful experience, and I encourage everyone to go play in that exhibition.
Will they remove part of your ear there?
No.
Okay.
No,
Just
very
saying,
illegal.
It's not that immersive. It's safe.
Family friendly.
Yes. And I grew up in the eastern part of Massachusetts, and I believed that Western Mass was a desolate wasteland where there be dragons. But there is another exhibit at Springfield Museums called Here Be Dragons, because I wasn't wrong. Can you tell us what that exhibit is all about and when that will be closing?
Sure. That is also closing, I believe, September 14th. And that actually features live lizards and talks about the connections between dinosaurs, lizards, birds, and then maybe some mythical connections to dragons. But yeah, there's, I think, 7 really fun creatures that have come to stay with us for the summer.
Do you remember what kind of lizards these are? You're not a lizard expert.
Not a lizard expert. There's one that's a legless lizard, which to me looks an awful lot like a snake.
Isn't that a snake?
Yeah.
Is what I was going to say. Yes.
That's also what I would think.
Are any of them like that water monitor that got loose outside of Worcester?
Much smaller. They're much smaller.
Great.
And all have been staying put.
That's to be encouraged.
Yes.
This current festival that's happening on Friday is funded in no small part by a state earmark that was put together by some of the Springfield delegate. And you are a Smithsonian affiliate.
Yeah.
Are you worried about programs like this in the future, considering the current state of what's happening to the funding for art museums and libraries writ large?
Well, we're doing okay right now. We have a lot of this funding that comes from earmarks or from generous donors, from private foundations, and our work with the Smithsonian continues. We've just started another 3-year phase with them, hoping to work with the Smithsonian Zoo in partnership with Head Start. We're still bringing every first grader in Springfield in to see Spark Lab in the Dr. Seuss Museum, which is part of that work. So we're in a good place right now.
Also worth noting that the Van Gogh exhibit does not have an earmark. We learned about that earlier. It is immersive, but no earmark. There is some Halloween-y type things that are happening at the Springfield museums, including an exhibit that we got to see, Witch Panic, which talks about the witch trial that happened in Springfield before the Salem witch trials.
Yeah, long before Salem, about 50 years or so, 40 years before Salem. So that exhibition is on view until November 2nd. We hope to see a lot of people visiting us, especially during the month of October. We'll have 2 family program days that kind of celebrate that theme in general on October 4th. And then we have our annual big Halloween trick-or-treat event on October, I believe it's 25th. I am not looking at a calendar right now.
But there is another Halloween-y thing on October 23rd as well, Bewitched, which is a haunting evening to benefit the Springfield museums.
Correct. That is a night, that is a fundraiser for us, our annual fundraiser, and we're getting into that theme going off the Bewitched exhibition with a lot of fun entertainment. We hope people come in creative costumes as well. There'll be a silent auction that night, and also just a really great time with lots of entertainment.
I'm so glad we're running out of time that we can't talk about your gingerbread exhibit, but it sounds fun, and we'll call this a rain check. Jurassic
Can I just say,
gingerbread?
you heard it here first, Jurassic gingerbread.
I mean, dinosaurs and gingerbread, it just sounds...
I'm not even ready for pumpkin spice, let alone like eggnog. It's too soon.
There's never an early time for eggnog, is my feeling
or gingerbread.
about it. Or gingerbread. Gingerbread is also delicious. Have them year-round.
And
Make it a thing.
Yes, and we are on the cusp of Hispanic Heritage Month, and the Springfield Museums will celebrate that with the Latino Arts Festival this Friday. It's free and open to the public at the Springfield Museums at 5 o'clock, and we have been joined by Springfield Museums Director of Education, Larissa Murray. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Oh, ours as well. Western Mass is idyllic, and movie and TV directors recognize it too.
So on the next Fabulous 413, we'll take you to Memorial Hall Museum, where a new exhibit explores celluloid connections to the area.
We'll talk with curator Ray Radigan about Pioneer Valley Picture Show, which looks at over 100 years of 413 film history, while someone with his own corner in the exhibit tags along, director Bob Krasowski.
And U.S. Congressman Jim McGovern will join us once again. If you've got a question for the congressman, email us at thefab413@nepm.org. I'm Monty Belmonte.
I'm Khalees Smith. Talk to you tomorrow on the Fabulous 413.